Here's the thing about the 1996-97 Houston Rockets that nobody wants to talk about. They had won back-to-back championships in 1994 and 1995, 2 rings, exposed clutch gene, the whole thing. That is not sneaking in, that is kicking the door down. Coach Rudy Tomjanovic wasn't having it. We were there, and we took on all comers. I'm not going to make any apologies or have my team take a back seat behind any individual who may or may not have been in the league. And Tomjanovic had receipts. In 95, the Rockets knocked out San Antonio, a team that had beaten them 5 out of 6 times in the regular season. They beat 3 60-win teams on the way to the ring. That is not sneaking in, that is kicking the door down. Mario Elie was even more direct. It ain't my fault the guy wanted to go off to hit some home runs or something. We are here playing the game, and it is all we could do. People have a tendency to forget real quick. Then Elie said the quiet part loud. They talk about Michael being the best, but I don't think I've ever seen a guy play a better stretch of basketball than Dream in the 94 playoffs. So when the schedule makers put the Bulls on NBC for a Sunday night rematch at the Summit, 8 days after Chicago had demolished Houston 110-86, the Rockets circled that date in blood. But there was a complication. It was Ramadan. Hakeem Olajuwon, a devout Muslim, was deep into his fast. No food, no water, nothing between sunrise and sunset. And the game tipped off well before the sun went down. On game day, Hakeem rose before dawn. He ate a meal of chicken and rice. Then he closed his mouth and didn't open it again. Not for food, not for water, not for Gatorade, until the stars came out. He walked into arena to face the best team in basketball, running on faith and a plate of chicken. And this is where the story gets ridiculous. January 19, 1997, the Summit, Houston, NBC cameras rolling. Chicago was 34-4, riding a 9-game winning streak, the best record in the league. Vegas had them by 4. Dennis Rodman was suspended for kicking a cameraman. Charles Barkley was nursing a badly sprained ankle and was doubtful. Both teams were missing an enforcer. Eli solved the opportunity. I think it is a perfect scenario for us. We got our butt kicked last time, and it is an NBC game at our place. Thank God that game 8 days ago wasn't on national TV. It was a war from the opening tip. Scottie Pippen got sandwiched between Olajuwon and Kevin Willis early and took a blow he never fully recovered from. Players were diving for loose balls, shoving under the boards. The atmosphere was so hostile that referee Mike Mathis had security remove a fan from his courtside seat. Michael Jordan carried Chicago by sheer will. He scored 12 points in the first quarter alone, while Pippen and Kukoc combined to shoot 2 for 19 in the first half. That is not a typo. 2 for 19. And still, with 7:12 left, 3 Jordan free throws gave the Bulls their first lead since the opening minute, 84-83. Hakeem Olajuwon had been on the floor for 39 minutes. He had not had a sip of water the entire game. His mouth was dry, his body was depleted. He told Tomjanovic before the game that he'd cut corners to conserve energy, no running on the fast break. But conservation didn't go much further than that. Jordan drove the basket, Sam Mack was called for the foul, Tomjanovic erupted, arguing Jordan had run Mack over. The ref hit Rudy with a technical, only his second of the entire season. It is about damn time that Rudy got a T. We were getting cheated out of everything all game. It was good to see. That technical lit a fire, and what followed was devastation. Olajuwon made 4 straight free throws. Willis hit an 18-foot hook off a gorgeous Drexler feed. The Bulls turned it over. Hakeem found Elie cutting to the wing, and Elie buried the 3. The dam broke. The Bulls shot 23% in the fourth quarter. Randy Brown's dunk with 9 seconds left was their only basket in that entire stretch. Once, and this is the part that stays with you, Hakeem dove on the floor twice on the same play to force a 24-second violation. A man who hadn't had water in 12 hours diving on a hardwood floor twice because that is what winning required. Pippen finished with 5 points, 2 for 14 shooting, 0 for 7 from 3, 6 turnovers. Kukoc had 3 points on 1 for 10. All 5 Rockets starters scored in double figures. Drexler had a triple-double, 17 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. Willis, stepping into Barkley's role, had a season-high 20. And Hakeem, 32 points, 16 rebounds, 5 blocks, 4 assists, 4 steals, on an empty stomach, with a dry throat, on national television. In the narrow hallway between the court and the locker room, Kevin Willis and Mario Elie found each other and banged fists. That is what it means. It is that little thing that Mario and I have, a little sign between ourselves that we're together and we're not going to be satisfied without a fight. Jordan, to his credit, didn't make excuses. He is unstoppable, he is tough, and you got to keep the ball out of his hands. He's a very agile center, and that is something that we just don't have. But the real story wasn't the basketball, it was why Hakeem was able to do it. Olajuwon, a devout Muslim, observed Ramadan every year of his career. No food, no liquids, sunrise to sunset, for a professional athlete engaged in a nightly war of strength, conditioning, and desire against some of the most gifted humans on the planet. The hunger was not there, it was the thirst. I try to not to think about it. The thing is, control your desire. Most people assume fasting would wreck an athlete. Hakeem saw it differently. It is like somebody who swims in a pool or somebody who's swimming in the ocean. The ocean is stronger, so makes a better swimmer. When I was playing, we were traveling and all my teammates were drinking water. To me, it didn't matter. It made me stronger. And the numbers backed them up. In February 1995, Olajuwon was named NBA Player of the Month despite Ramadan starting on February 1st. His averages that month: 29.5 points, 10 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 3.4 blocks, and 1.4 steals on 55% from the field. His weight stayed stable at 255 pounds. He routinely scored around 30 during the holy month. Because it is Ramadan, I'd find I have a lot more energy. You digest all your food, your stomach is feeling lighter, more explosive, to the point, even after Ramadan, I wanted to continue. He described Ramadan as a training program for self-control, discipline, and mental toughness. He viewed the month as purification, body and soul. I feel much better, I feel lighter and faster, much more mentally focused. When God prescribes something, it is for your best interest. Tomjanovic, who had coached hundreds of athletes, had never seen anything like it. The spiritual side of this life is important, and I have never seen a person more at peace with himself, such an even temperament, and the way he gets pounded and doubled and triple teamed. I don't know how he does it. He is the whole package. In the mid-1990s, Muslims in America were misunderstood, often conflated in popular imagination with violence rather than seen as ordinary American citizens. The average sports fan had never heard of Ramadan. And then every January or February, NBC announcers would mention that the best center in basketball wasn't drinking water during games, and millions of people would hear the word Ramadan for the first time, not from a news broadcast, from a basketball game. When I was playing, I didn't realize how much of an impact I would make on people, Muslim or non-Muslim. On national TV, the announcers were commenting about Ramadan, and this raised the awareness to general public, and we made all the Muslims very, very proud. Hakeem didn't preach, he didn't lecture, he just played, fasting, dominating, and letting the performance speak for itself. He showed America a different image of what a Muslim could be: disciplined, graceful, dominant, and at peace. The torch kept burning. In April 2022, Kyrie Irving scored 34 points with 12 assists while fasting during Ramadan, becoming the first player since LeBron James in 2020 to record 30 points and 10 assists while shooting 80% from the field. Kevin Durant watched that game and shook his head. To play an NBA game like that the last week or so, that shows that he is a different human being. Different generation, same sacrifice, same refusal to compromise. The Houston Rockets hold a unique distinction in NBA history. They are the only team to win championships in the gap between the Bulls' 2 three-peats. Some people tried to diminish those titles because Jordan was retired. Hakeem never lost sleep over it. You don't win a championship by accident. We had the best record in the league. Some people try to say, oh, Jordan was out those 2 years, that is why you won. That really doesn't matter to us. We don't have to prove anything. And then he said the things that tells you everything about these two men's mutual respect. That is one thing I really respect about Michael Jordan. He never say that. He has tremendous respect for our team. Even when Chicago was winning championships and we had a more average team, we were beating Chicago, we were good against Chicago. He gave us all the respect, and that is what's important to me. In 2008, the Houston Rockets unveiled a monument honoring Olajuwon outside the arena. There was one condition: it could not include a picture or likeness of him. In keeping with the tenets of Muslim faith, the 12-foot bronze sculpture featured only his famed number 34 jersey. Even in bronze, Hakeem remained true to his beliefs. The dream never compromised. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, make sure you check out my other videos. I write every story myself. I do the research, the voiceover, and the editing. This channel is built from the ground up, one story at a time. If you want to directly support the work and help me keep creating more deep basketball documentaries, you can join the channel through the membership button called Content Fuel. That is the best way to support what I do here. And of course, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe if you're new and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next story. More coming soon.